Hi, Jamir. Did you remember the assignment for English class? We had to tell the most interesting story from a film.
Hi Renato, of course. I was thinking about it all morning. You know I love action and fantasy films, but you usually enjoy dramas and historical stories. This is going to be interesting.
Exactly. That's why our discussion can be the most creative in the group. I'll, I'll start with my film. I chose The Shawshank Redemption. It was directed by Frank Darabont, and it starred Tim Robbins and Morgan Freeman.
Oh, I've heard of it, but I never watched it. What happened in the story?
Well, the story followed Andy Dufresne, a banker who was accused for a crime he didn't commit. He went to prison and at first he felt hopeless. While he was living there, he met Red, who later became his best friend. They were building trust slowly.
That sounds emotional already.
It was. Andy helped the prison guards with financial advice, and in addition, he helped the other prisoners get an education. While he was planning his escape secretly, everyone believed he had accepted his life in prison. However, after many years, he escaped through a tunnel he had been digging.
Wow, that's clever. So it was a drama, right?
Yes, a drama with some crime elements. I think it's one of the most inspiring stories ever. It was slower than action films, but it was deeper and more meaningful.
I like that king of message, but you know me, I prefer something more exciting. Let me tell you my films. I chose Avenger Endgames. I starred Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, and Scarlett Johansson.
That's definitely more action-packed.
Yes, the story slowed how the Avengers try to reverse the damage caused by Thanos. They were traveling through time while they were collecting the Infinity Stone. It was intense because they were fighting enemies and facing emotional moments at the same time.
I remember that film. It was one of the biggest superhero movies.
Exactly. Iron Man sacrificed himself in the final battle. It was the saddest and most historic moment. But I love how the characters worked together. On the other hand, the story was more complex than other action films because it connected many previous movies.
That's true. Uh, it was more exciting than my film, but maybe less realistic.
Yes, but this was definitely more entertaining. For some people, I enjoyed it very easy.
So now we have two very different type stories, a realistic drama and a superhero action film.
Right. Which one do you think is more interesting for the class?
Well, the Shawshank Redemption is deeper and more emotional. It teaches patience and hope. In addition, the story is easier to follow.
That's true. However, Avengers Endgame is more exciting and visually impressive. It could attract more attention from our classmates.
Yes, but sometimes simpler stories are more powerful. Mine was slower, but it was the most inspiring.
I agree with that also. Not everyone has watched your film, so it might be more original.
Exactly, and many students already know the Avengers story.
In conclusion, I think your film is the better choice for the competition.
Really? Even though you love action films?
Yes, I still love action movies, but your story is more meaningful and unique for this activity.
Great. Then we'll present the Shawshank Redemption.
Perfect. Let's practice it again later so we can win the competition. See you tomorrow.
Okay, see you in class.